Huo Yuhao crawls back from the edge of death and discovers his body has changed. Take a slow breath, because the 9 blades were not an ending at all, but the ignition of something new, fierce, and dangerous. Hey friends, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review, where every battle leaves a scar, and every miracle asks for payment when you least expect it. Today we continue Land 2, episode 134, as Huo Yuhao crawls back from the edge of death and discovers his body has changed. Take a slow breath, because the 9 blades were not an ending at all, but the ignition of something new, fierce, and dangerous. Yuhao surfaced from a deep, lightless coma, blinking as though his eyelids were iron gates, and the room returned in soft, unreal silence. The air smelled of clean wood and bitter medicine, and the orderly calm of Tang Men made the nightmare feel distant, almost impossible. Then memory struck like thunder Long Xiaoyao's dagger, Tang Wutong's scream, and pain so sharp it erased sound and time together. Yuhao lifted his shirt with trembling fingers, expecting torn flesh, yet his skin looked whole, as if those wounds had never existed. He pressed a palm to his chest, and a steady, powerful heartbeat answered, deep and heavy, like a drum buried in mountain stone. He inhaled, circulated soul power, and a violent surge answered instantly, flooding his meridians with dense strength that didn't feel human. Even the smallest intent made energy respond with crisp obedience, as if his bones had learned a new language, and that language was power. The door flew open, and Nan Chu rushed in, eyes bright and wet, relief shaking through her voice like wind through bamboo leaves. "You're awake!" she cried, then pinched his arm hard, demanding pain as proof that the living had truly returned to this bed. Yuhao yelped, and Chu laughed through tears, telling him he had slept 7 full days, drifting like a candle above cold water. She poured him warm water, fussing like a scolding sister, then finally admitted her hands had shaken every night they watched him breathe. She said Tang Wutong carried him back herself, placed him in their hands without explanation, and vanished before anyone could stop her. Yuhao's chest tightened, because Wutong's silence always meant storms, and Long Xiaoyao's mercy felt too clean to be kindness alone. He asked where Wutong went, but Chu only shook her head, saying Wutong requested seclusion and refused to see any visitors. Yuhao swallowed that ache, because one urgent matter remained: an evil soul master still frozen, still waiting to be questioned and judged. Yuhao opened his soul tool, and the ice sculpture appeared, a human body trapped in crystal frost like a corpse preserved by winter. The prisoner's face was pale beneath the ice, and Nan Chu shivered, sensing the stink of Shengling Jiao even through frozen silence. Yuhao spread ultimate ice with surgical care, melting the outer shell slowly, because a sudden thaw could destroy organs and lose answers. When the ice loosened, breath returned, and Yuhao's aura shifted into necromancer stillness, cold and absolute, sharpening the room's air. He used deathly energy to restart heart and mind, forcing life back like dragging a drowning soul from black water by pure willpower. The man coughed violently, choking on air, and Yuhao steadied him with invisible pressure, refusing to allow unconsciousness to hide the truth. Yuhao activated Imitation, and his features reshaped into a venerable elder of Gongfeng Hall, authority heavy enough to make fear kneel. The prisoner jolted awake, saw that face, and trembled violently, because to him, this elder meant punishment, not rescue or mercy. Yuhao spoke softly, yet soul control fire coiled behind each word, promising torment if the man tried lies, delays, or brave stubbornness. "Report everything," Yuhao ordered, his gaze pinning the prisoner like a nail through shadow, leaving no room for bargaining or tricks. The man stammered, sweating, and confessed there were 2 Holy Maidens, one at the front line, and one kept at headquarters, imprisoned. He babbled names, ranks, and fearfully repeated the cult's rules, like a chained dog reciting commands, terrified his tongue might betray him. Yuhao's heartbeat quickened, but he kept his tone flat, because excitement could become weakness, and weakness invites counterattacks at once. The prisoner added, the imprisoned Holy Maiden was Ma Xiaotao, suffering unstable heart fire that surged violently, like a furnace losing control. Yuhao demanded the headquarters location, but the prisoner's expression twisted, as if an invisible switch had been turned inside his flesh. Veins bulged, eyes widened, and his body swelled at horrifying speed, like a balloon stuffed with poison and hatred, ready to burst. "Not good!" Yuhao roared, striking with ultimate ice, compressing the coming explosion into a dense sphere before it touched the walls. The poisonous blast froze into a crystal coffin, trapped and silent, and Yuhao stored it away instantly, saving Tang men by a heartbeat. Nan Chiu stumbled back, pale-faced, realizing the cult planted death in its own people, and Yuhao's eyes hardened like sharpened ice. The clue cut their hope into two burning directions, each demanding speed, blood, and decisions that could not be postponed politely. Tang Ya was at the front line, swallowed by war's grinding teeth, while Ma Xiaotao remained caged at headquarters, sick and controlled. Yuhao gathered everyone quickly, retelling the confession, and the room filled with anger, fear, and loyalty that refused to sit quietly. The Tang Sect's core erupted, Shu Sanqi pacing like a caged beast, and Jiang Nanan's eyes shining with fear that refused to retreat. Bei Bei's jaw tightened, because leadership cannot cancel brotherhood, and some bonds remain stronger than strategy, even in war's logic. Yuhao rose, dragon strength humming beneath his skin, and promised himself no one would be stolen without paying a brutal price. He and Bei Bei moved at once to Hai Shenge, where Elder Xuan waited, a living pillar whose decisions could strike like thunder. In the pavilion's quiet, Yuhao reported everything, including the raid where Shui Di's prestige rallied extreme North beasts to his side. With that support, they destroyed a Sun Moon Empire military base, cutting supply and morale like a blade through rope and bone together. Elder Xuan listened without hesitation, because this was no longer personal pain, but a strategic line where hesitation costs lives. When rescuing Tang Ya was raised, Elder Xuan nodded once, then said they would play big, so the enemy would not dare laugh later. He spread a simple war map, pointing to routes and time windows, reminding them rescue must hit like lightning, then vanish like mist. He ordered Yan Xiaoze and Elder Song to accompany them, and the room seemed to gain weight, because two super duo meant certainty. Bei Bei's eyes brightened, because their rescue became a spear thrust backed by mountains, not a reckless sprint fueled by anger alone. Before they left, Elder Xuan added one more piece of news, and it landed like a stone in Yuhao's ribs, heavy and quiet. Tang Wutong requested seclusion the moment she returned, refusing every visit, sealing herself away as if the world no longer existed. Yuhao felt a dull ache, yet he swallowed it, because war does not pause for heartbreak, and questions can wait for safer nights. Still, her trembling hands in that wilderness returned to him, and he wondered what storm she was fighting behind closed doors. He remembered how long Xiaoyao sealed her power so casually, and the thought made Yuhao's jaw tighten, because helplessness tastes like poison. He walked out of Hai Shenge with Bei Bei, rescue plans forming, while the silence inside his thoughts grew wider and sharper. Back in his room, Yuhao entered his spirit sea, and Shui waited there, calm as an empress watching a reckless child. Instead of scolding him, she laughed lightly and teased him, calling him Baba, until his face warmed with helpless embarrassment. Her amusement faded into seriousness, and she explained Long Xiaoyao never intended to kill him, even when the dagger pierced his flesh. The old monster pushed him to the thinnest line between life and death, emptying resistance completely, so the dragon pill could merge. Shui Di described the dragon pill as an energy body dragons condense over ages, a treasure that tempers spiritual consciousness itself. It rebuilt bone, blood, and marrow, strengthening Yuhao from the inside out, until his foundation resembled a true dragon's physique, tough and unforgiving. Yuhao closed his eyes, sensing that hidden heat, like scales forming beneath skin, and he felt both gratitude and fury at the method. More importantly, that deep base energy could support a second soul core, and perhaps even a third, if Yuhao survived long enough. Yuhao's breath caught, because it sounded like legend, yet his body's new strength already proved the impossible was becoming routine. Shui Di's eyes sharpened, and she warned him about their life-linked bond with a seriousness colder than ultimate ice itself. "If you die, I die next," she said. "We are your soul, and you are our body, so one life means one collapse." The warning pierced Yuhao's old guilt and lifted a chain, because he finally understood the bond was unity, not burden or debt. He promised to value his own life properly, not for pride, but because others' lives were stitched to his heartbeat by fate. Following her guidance, Yuhao left the city and walked to the river, where cold wind carried fish scent and distant human noise. There he found Xiao Bei, the Ice Bear King, terrifying in legend, yet hungrily catching tiny fish with bare claws like a child. The sight was absurdly human, and Yuhao almost laughed, because even apex beasts look pitiful when hunger bites deep enough. Xiao Bei looked up with guilty pride, then tried to act dignified, as if fishing was royal ritual rather than simple desperation. Yuhao sat by the bank, offered roasted fish and dried meat, and Xiao Bei devoured everything, eyes shining with bright satisfaction. Between bites, Xiao Bei boasted loudly, claiming he could swallow an army, while his paws kept shaking from how hungry he truly was. With his belly full, Xiao Bei sat upright, swagger returning, and the river seemed less cold, as if companionship warmed the air. Shui Di manifested beside them in quiet light, confirming Yuhao's feeling his soul power had reached rank 80, a threshold that rewrites destiny. If he fused Xiao Bei as a spirit soul now, he would jump at least 2 ranks instantly, surging forward like a lit rocket. Temptation tasted sweet, yet Yuhao shook his head, choosing strategy over hunger, because the front line needed more than numbers alone. "We shouldn't fuse yet," he said. "Xiao Bei independent matters at the front line, especially against enemy aerial scouts and surprise raids." Shui Di agreed, but warned that if heavenly tribulation threatened Xiao Bei, Yuhao must fuse immediately, without hesitation or debate. Xiao Bei pounded his chest proudly, as if promising he would survive anything, even while licking fish oil from his claws. Decision made, Yuhao led his food-obsessed nephew back toward Tangmen, the Ice Bear King waddling like a young general. Inside Tangmen, the mood shifted from relief to steel, because rescue required speed, coordination, and hearts prepared to watch blood spill. Yuhao's near-death left anger steaming in his ribs, and that anger aimed straight at Shengling Jiao and their hidden cruelty. He was not simply returning to war to save Tang Ya, he was marching to smash the enemy's scheme before it matured into catastrophe. He checked his weapons and soul tools again, not from fear, but from respect for war, because carelessness is how heroes become graves. Somewhere behind sealed doors, Tang Wutong cultivated in silence, and Yuhao could feel that distance like a bruise under armor. The dragon pill continued reshaping him invisibly, each heartbeat forging him tougher and steadier, turning yesterday's weakness into tomorrow's dangerous certainty. That night, Tangmen's corridors stayed bright, because people moved quietly with packed bags, sharpened blades, and messages carried between trusted hands. Shusanqi tried to joke to lighten fear, yet his laughter sounded tight, and Jiang Nanan kept adjusting straps, as if order could calm her heart. Bei Bei reviewed the route again, repeating time windows, river crossings, and safe signals, because rescuing Tang Ya demanded precision, not heroic chaos. Yuhao stood by the window, watching distant war lights flicker on the horizon, and he felt the continent's pain like heat pressing against his skin. He thought of Ma Xiaotao's unstable heartfire, and the thought chilled him, because cages can turn fierce people into weapons without their consent. Before sleeping, he circulated soul power once more, tasting the dragon pill's support, and promised himself he would master this strength, not be used by it. Somewhere beyond the walls, enemy scouts still searched. Yet Tang Men's resolve hardened, because tomorrow's road would not forgive hesitation or regret. Yuhao whispered Tang Ya's name once, not as a prayer, but as a vow, and his eyes turned as clear and cold as winter starlight. At the same time, behind Wutong's sealed door, silence held steady, and Yuhao could only hope her storm would not break her alone. With dawn approaching, he rose, tightened his cloak, and stepped toward the gathering point, ready to walk into war with a dragon's heartbeat. He could feel it, bones denser, blood hotter, spirit steadier like a dragon's echo sleeping under his skin, waiting for the right moment. He remembered Long Xiaoyao's calm eyes and realized that mercy was also a test, asking what kind of man would return. Yuhao didn't know the full truth of Wutong's silence or Ma Xiaotao's cage, but his resolve sharpened into clear certainty. If Shengling Jiao wanted war, he would bring them war, and this time he would not bleed helplessly on the ground again. And that is where episode 134 closes, with Tang Men mobilizing, clues secured, and the road to the front line opening like a blade. If this chapter moved you, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next episode rides straight into the war zone.